On the right is the Core Protect. This is your X Protect. You can see how that water beads right up. Oh, 2018. Aquatic fidget spinners. Get on that, guys. What is going on, guys? I thank each and every one of you for joining me, and today we're going to be covering two technologies offered on quite a few Shimano egg beaters, ranging from a $99 reel all the way up to $800 reels, and that is Core Protect and X Protect, and how they are different. Now, starting off, Core Protect can be found in your Nasky, in your Ultegra, and even the Socorro SW, all the way up to the Stratic and the Stratic CI4 Plus. Now, X Protect is what you're going to find in some of your higher end reels, starting with the Sustain, going up to the Shimano Essence, the Shimano Essence, and finally it's made its way all the way into the new Stella FJ. So what we're going to be doing is touching on what these things actually do, how they function, and what is their actual benefit to you as a fisherman. Because that's really all that matters. Is it just some crap on the side of a box, or does it actually benefit you as an angler? And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. On the left-hand side, we have the new and current Sustain. This uses what's called X Protect. And on the right, we have the Stratic CI4 Plus that uses Core Protect. Now, Core Protect, starting off, shares a few different things with X Protect, and we're going to take the Sustain handle, and we have the Stratic's handle. And you can see that there is a rubber lipped seal right there. And a little trick for you guys that own Shimano reels, if you ever want to take this out to clean it, just slide this collar up, grab this here, and then wind it backwards. It'll take you a couple turns, but it will come out. So the first step of Core Protect and X Protect is to keep water from getting into this side plate bearing here. And if you look, that little rubber seal lightly makes contact inside there, proving an effective barrier and keeping water out. On the opposite side of the frame, water is kept out by this screw down nut here. You can see that it threads down, and there is a little O-ring inside there. No water is getting in through those two openings, so your bearings in that side plate and handle are safe. In addition to that, when you sandwich these two portions of the frame together and bolt them together, there is grease that is run around the perimeter here. And that does end up making a fairly effective seal. You're not submerging this and reeling it underwater, so as long as it's got that little grease barrier, along with the two mating surfaces being fairly precise, you're going to be keeping water out in that way. Now next up, using the Essence or Xsense as an example, Shimano's paid special attention to where the main shaft traverses the pinion, and right in there is a lip seal that rides along the main shaft, keeping water or preventing water from getting in between the pinion and the main shaft. And if you look closely here, this is essentially all that is. You have your rotor retaining nut here, and the rubber seal goes on top. And then you have the rotor retaining nut lock that screws down into the rotor, basically sandwiching that rubber seal between the cap and the rotor nut, making a very effective seal. Now next up, this is quite possibly the most important area in which you want to protect. This is your anti-reverse clutch mechanism. This is the one out of the Sustain. It is the same exact one that can be found in the $550 or $600 Essence. And it's fairly interesting how it's not necessarily a seal, but more or less a tricky path for water to get through. On the right is the Core Protect. This is your X Protect. And you'll see here, using a little water bottle, you can see how that water beads right up. And you can see how it doesn't want to get in between there. And you can see what happens when it does. It just kind of just rolls right off. And right here, this is the top cap to it. It just gets sandwiched between the rotor and the anti-reverse clutch sleeve, which is a little silver ring in the middle, and it sits on it just like so. And from the side, this is all you see. It never makes contact with anything while it's spinning, so there will be a fixed distance like that. Let's see if I can get it spaced out. There we go. So water would have to go up underneath that little ridge, and then when it's up underneath that ridge, it's going to have to get over this lip here. And again, you have matching ridges that go in between these two ridges here. So it kind of makes it a little bit trickier for water to get to where it's going. And what's nice about a seal like this, if it's not like a quad seal like what you have in a Van Staal, well, water's going to get in if you submerge it. Problem being is when it gets in there, if it's that kind of watertight, how does it get out? How does it evaporate? Or is it just sitting there? So if water does get in past this system, it's not fully sealed and it can get out. If you look at the Core Protect version, instead of using that big top cap here, they use just a little washer, like a cup, and it sits in between the anti-reverse clutch sleeve and that rubber seal. Now what's interesting about this system here, if you saw my head scratcher video about the Shimano Naski, or Naski, whatever it is, you saw that it doesn't make contact with anything. And same thing here, it is exposed. You can see there's a little bit of wiggle room in there. So it's not a friction or a tight fitting seal, but what it does do, using that water dropper bottle again, it does kind of try to keep the water from getting over that hump into that area where it can do damage. Now, how effective is it? It really isn't. And what ends up happening, using this Ultegra as an example, what you're hearing is the pinion support bearing at the top right below the anti-reverse clutch sleeve and anti-reverse clutch mechanism, and that has corroded. That's that raspy, grindy sound that you're hearing. It's not the bearings here. It's all the bearings here. Now getting back to the X-Protect, and you can see, I thought I had some water in there, but I guess I don't know where it went to. But you can see it is a hydrophobic. Is it hydroscopic or hydrophobic? I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section. But you can see how it just beads up. And you can see here, this is the top side. And you can see it's not that hydrophobic, just what normal grease would do. But when you go on this side here, we're going to have fun with this. Oh, 2018. Aquatic fidget spinners. Get on that, guys. But you can see how it is not allowing that water to really seep in anywhere. It just beads up and rolls away. And again, it's not a 100% effective method. If you dunk it, water will get in there. Dunking is its only drawback. Splashes, it's perfectly fine. It's going to block water. You're not going to have any issues with splashes or hose downs as long as you're not using a high pressure spray, because you still do have to get underneath that rotor if you're spraying it with a hose. So if you're spraying it from the top down, you really have nothing to worry about. It's when you get up underneath and water is being sprayed up underneath there is when you can have some problems. Now if we dive a little bit deeper into the AR clutch, removing that top rotating cap exposes us to the top plate, which we already went over. And on the back side, it's heavily greased and it covers an O-ring seal here at the top of the AR clutch. And if we flip this upside down, there will be another O-ring that is sandwiched between the AR clutch mechanism and the top of the frame. And that same O-ring at the base of the AR clutch mechanism is shared on the Core Protected Stratic CI4 and other reels as well. Now on top of all that, Shimano's gone ahead and removed the anti-reverse on-off switch so your reel only has the option to go in one direction. For me, it never made a difference. I prefer it to be gone because when they had it located here, it was a major pain point. Salt water, sand, and debris would get in through that anti-reverse clutch switch opening, and that would spell an early death to many reels. Now, last but not least, the line roller itself has seen a little bit of love, and starting with the Stratic FK, I believe, they went ahead and made it kind of a one-piece unit with the ball bearing in the middle, and it's grease protected, and there's a little bit of sealing as a result. And it has proven to be much more durable than what Shimano's offered in the past. I know I've gone through quite a few line roller bearings until I started heavily greasing them, and this is nice to see in the majority of their better spinners, if it'll focus. And if you do have one that goes bad, if you crunch a bearing or one seizes up on you, you just go ahead and pay, I think it's like 10 bucks for this whole unit, and just pop it in. So with all that being said, guys, I hope you found that informative, and I hope it helps you kind of make sense of what you see on the side of the box. In this instance, it's not just some type of marketing hype. And it is a truly beneficial feature. And it is a feature that is kind of trying to take aim at what Daiwa does with their mag seal. While mag seal is 100% waterproof, it does still have some of the drawbacks where it won't handle high pressure by dunking. And you do have to be a little bit more careful with mag seal because you don't want to get any outside oils or line conditioners or Salt X type sprays on it, because it could emulsify with the ferrofluid, degrading it over time. But with all that being said, I hope you found this informative. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, check out some of the other videos that I have on my channel. I think you'll find I do things quite a bit differently, and hit that subscribe button. Once again, thanks guys, tight lines, and I'll see you soon.